So we've been in Israel for about 4.5 weeks. We spent most of our time in Jerusalem. We are now in Tel Aviv. We've been here for 3 nights. Tomorrow's our last night in Tel Aviv, and we're going to hit the road, spend 2 nights in Eilat, which is the southern part of Israel, before we go over the border. And we are in Jordan for 5 days, kind of the beginning of our next leg of our trek around the world. And with that, when you're backpacking around the world for extended period of times, or you're kind of in one place for a week here, 2 weeks here, 4 weeks here, whatever it is, it's learning how to kind of adapt and go with, not just the climate, but what's practical, what's impractical. And when I tell you, like, the life lessons involved in that are kind of crazy. The difference in terms of what we left with from the States to now, we're almost 6 months into our trip, where everything up to Israel was very warm. Israel, it's been comfortable, but it's definitely need a sweatshirt, jeans, get away with shorts, middle of the day. And now we're kind of going, when we we're in Nepal for a few weeks, it's going to be super chilly. So when we've been traveling, we've been really trying to keep things limited to one bag, because we're the ones schlepping them around. We're the ones having to, whether we're in an Uber or whether we're hopping on a plane to avoid extra fees, learning how to trim things down. So when it comes to prioritizing, it's kind of interesting what we think we need when we leave to what we know we need, and we're learning and adapting to what we need. And there's a difference between when you have a 30-pound bag and you have a 55-pound bag. Your stress level goes up. And so kind of to give you a little bit of a insight about, like, this is what I'm limited to. I've gone through 3 or 4 times. What do I need? What do I not need? Where you're not kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and now I have to go pick up, and buy a few tops or socks or whatever the heck it is. So this is where we're at, right? And it's kind of prioritizing, like, what do I need? What do I not need? For me, it's like, I got to make sure we have our vitamins. I have my essential oils. I've got my little dudes and my, our rash guards and gear for surfing when we get to Dubai. And once we're in Asia, which is like almost a month away, I'm having my big funky puffy pants that are great here, but aren't going to be practical when we're in Nepal, but they'll be practical once we're in Thailand or wherever the heck we are, Japan. So it's learning. It's kind of like really super duper like life, where, what do I need? What do I not need? And sometimes we kind of like schlep things around, whether that's emotionally or literally physically, that we just don't need, and kind of adds to our stress in life, adds to kind of the weight we kind of take behind us, right? Whether that's things of the past, whether that's like literal sense. I think, for those of you as Americans, I know there's kind of a tendency to just kind of excess. And what it ends up doing when we think we need something we don't need, it just kind of adds weight to our life. It's accumulation, it's stuff. And I'm not saying we need to get hardcore, kind of like I have to have all my possessions on the bed, because we have things back in the States. We have a storage unit, but we did sell everything. It was a mindset. We kind of like, we're in a place that we felt like it was appropriate. This is what we want to do. It's on our bucket list. But when I tell you the learning that's gone involved with, like, what am I going to schlep? What am I not going to? What am I going to kind of, pass on to a local homeless shelter or to an orphanage or whatever? And what am I going to take with me that I'm not going to get rid of and then need in a week and a half? So, it's been a learning lesson. It's taught me a lot about myself. It's taught me a lot about kind of learning how to trim down, but also like, you need 4 T-shirts. Getting rid of that other T-shirt, like you're now wearing a T-shirt so many days in a row if we don't have access to laundry. So it's living and learning. And so we are, tomorrow, we're taking a car all the way down to Eilat, about a 4-hour trip, before we're jamming with Bedouins in the Wadi Rum Desert. So I'll keep you posted, but learning to trim down and then the difference in discerning between wants and needs. Boom. Peace, love, and goodness, my friends.